It does because of the qualifications of the two teams. I look back at games in the past that have had this much star power with teams that roll in with winning streaks like this, and the only parallel that I can find what I've covered would be the Texas USC Rose Bowl. The star power of those two teams, Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, both on huge win streaks. Obviously, it was a championship game. This isn't, so it can't feel the same. You talk about 28 versus 19, 5 of the top 9 vote getters in the Heisman Trophy. And it's got individual star power. It's got two teams on a collision course. It's got history. Clemson's chasing something that's very special in the history of the entire sport. 3 out of 4. Ohio State's trying to get back where they think they belong. So in terms of storylines and star power, I haven't seen many like this.
You feel like it's a toss-up game?
Toss-up game. There are no true toss-up games. You got to find that edge somewhere. I think Clemson's favored for a reason, to be honest with you. I think that you can count on the guys that are the core leaders of that team, especially on offense, kind of delivering in a big game. I don't discount the fact that Lawrence and Etienne and a lot of those guys who were a part of the championship last year have put together an almost perfect performance in a championship game against Alabama and beat them by 4 touchdowns. For Ohio State, they answered a lot of questions against Wisconsin coming off the canvas in their first real postseason game for that group of guys. But to me, I just wouldn't bet against Trevor Lawrence in these situations. And I think that Clemson is favored for a reason. Doesn't mean it's not a very close competitive game. We sure hope it is, man. I mean, that's what we're all here for, to see a close game.
How big is familiarity, being there playing this game?
I think it counts a lot. I mean, in 30 years of doing this, I've seen plenty of postseason games won with experience and just a steady hand in the big stage. You talk to all the players and coaches who've been through this. There's a jump in intensity from regular season to conference championship. There's another jump to the semifinals, another jump to the championship. If you don't come out and match that energy and that intensity early on and then sustain it, you don't win. And I think Alabama got caught last year in a Clemson avalanche. The Tigers came out, made big plays early, got momentum going, and Alabama sort of tapped out, which is something we hadn't seen before. If you can make Alabama tap out, you can do anything in the sport. So I think that for that reason, the Clemson is a proven commodity in that department. Ohio State needs to be very aware early on and come out, execute well, be intense, and impose themselves and not get punched in the mouth quickly, because I think we can see playoff games get away from one side if they're not ready from the jump.
Chris, do you think Chase Young can be nullified maybe as he was limited a little bit in the last 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Tremaine Ankrum, the tackle for Clemson, we had a long talk with him. He's very proud of his technique. He's very confident in his ability to block anybody. I think they'll give him a chance to see what he can do one-on-one. If that doesn't work out, they'll try to help him out there. But I think that you talk to Chase, I mean, he's NFL ready. He just has the demeanor of a 5-year All-Pro, and I think he's worked hard. I think he's well aware that he didn't have his best games down the stretch, and they'll study and they'll find ways. And if he is nullified, it opens things up for the other guys. But he's going to be a game plan dictator regardless of whether or not he shows up on the stat sheet. He has a way of, I think, influencing the game, even if it's not a sack, just by a pressure or maybe moving the launch point, opening things up for other guys. And I'm really eager to see the game within the game with Chase against their edge pass.